Hi, welcome to Give Cheese a Chance. I'm Marianne. I used to live downtown Toronto in my 20s on Baldwin Street, and at that time there was a wonderful mom and pop shop that used to make their own cream cheese, and everyone in the neighborhood used to go there to buy cream cheese. And I used to go there on Saturday mornings for my breakfast. I'd buy some cream cheese and have some bread with it, and it would be a great start to the day. Well, as a home cheesemaker, I was always looking for a cream cheese recipe that was as good as their cream cheese. And through trial and error, I've come up with what I think is the best cream cheese recipe, and I'm going to share it with you today. Now, cream cheese is called cream cheese because it has cream in it. And I've done many cream cheese recipes that don't have cream in it. I've used just whole milk. And the whole milk recipes taste good, but they're not amazing. And this recipe using whipping cream with whole milk is amazing. So for this recipe, we want 4 liters or 1 gallon of whole milk. It's homogenized and pasteurized cow's milk at 3.25% fat. And we're using 2 pints or 1 liter of 35% milk fat whipping cream. So we're going to put both of those into the pot. One note about pots. For this recipe and many cheese making recipes, you want to use a pot that has thick sides and a thick bottom so that it holds the heat better. So let's add the milks into the pot, and we're going to heat it slowly on very low heat. Now this mixture of 4 parts of whole milk to 1 part of whipping cream will give a resulting milk fat percentage of 9.4%. So that's just perfect to give the best flavor and best aroma. So we're heating it on low, and it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to reach the target temperature, which is 86 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius. So I've been stirring the milk on and off, and we've hit our target temperature. So it's time to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of Flora Danica freeze-dried bacteria culture to the surface of the milk. We're going to sprinkle it on and let it sit there for a good 3 minutes before mixing it in. While you're waiting for it to rehydrate, measure out a 1/4 teaspoon of calcium chloride solution into a 1/4 cup of non-chlorinated water. You don't want to use tap water for this because the chlorine will interfere with the growth of the bacteria that you want. And also measure out 2 drops of double-strength rennet into a 1/4 cup of non-chlorinated water. It's hard to control drop measurements sometimes, so I use my small measuring spoons, the 1/64 of a teaspoon, to create a drop, and I do that twice. So the time is now up, so I'm going to add my rennet solution and my calcium chloride solution and mix everything together. I'm going to mix it all for 1 solid minute, making sure I mix the milk at the bottom of the pot with the top as well. And now that that is all mixed in, I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to wrap the whole thing in a blanket to keep it warm. Now, if you've watched my previous cheese making videos, you'll see that I like to keep my incubating milk out of the way, and I tend to put it in the oven so that it keeps the heat in as much as possible. So if you're going to do that, always make sure to put a sign on the oven. I'm going to tell you that once my son decided to make cookies and he didn't know that I had some incubating milk in the oven and I didn't have a sign on. So I've learned my lesson, and I hope you learn from my experience. Always put a sign on the oven if you store your incubating milk inside. We're gonna put this in the oven and let it sit there for a good 18 to 24 hours. The next morning, fill a pot halfway with some water and bring it to a boil. You're going to use this water to sterilize the fabric that we'll use for our cheese making projects. I have a large piece of butter muslin today, but you can also use a pillowcase that is used exclusively for cheese making projects. So drop this cloth into some boiling water with a large ladle and boil them both for 15 minutes, then let them cool. Okay, it's time for the great reveal. Let's see what's inside the pot. This curd has thickened quite a bit, and there's a lot of whey sitting on the top. That's great, the curd is nice and thick. So now our job is to transfer all of this curd into our sterilized fabric, and we've placed it in the sink with a strainer underneath. So we're going to be able to transfer all of this lovely thick curd. I have to tell you, this smells amazing. It smells like cream cheese. So carefully transfer all the curd, and we're going to let it sit here for 15 minutes before we hang it. So if you find your colander is not big enough to hold all of the curd, just fill it up, wait 10 to 15 minutes for it to drain a little, and then come back and fill it some more. So it's been draining for a few minutes now, and that means it's going to be much easier for me to pick up the corners and hang it from my faucet. Once you're confident that this is nice and secure, we want this to drip over the next 24 hours so that it will develop a really thick curd inside. And you really want to encourage more whey to be released. So come by every once in a while and just move the bag around, give it a little squeeze, and that will encourage more whey to be drained. So I'll see you in 24 hours. What a difference a day makes. Look how much smaller the curds are now because they've been draining for 24 hours. So we're gonna open up the bag and take a look at what's inside. Look at that lovely thick cream cheese. And it smells amazing. And now it's time to transfer it to a larger bowl. The yield of this recipe is about 6 cups of cream cheese. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt, but you can add more. Just make sure you taste it first. See if you like it with 2 teaspoons of salt. You might like it with more, you might like it less. It's up to you. And mix it in. And now that we've made our cream cheese and added the salt, it's time to store it. We can put it into 2 containers, one for yourself. Always make sure you give a container to your friends as well. So we finished making our cream cheese and it is delicious and it has an intoxicating aroma. It sort of reminds me of Philadelphia cream cheese, but it doesn't have the carob bean gum or the potassium sorbate additives. And the good thing is it makes quite a lot, so you can have some and share some with your friends as well. And it lasts quite a long time. It'll last over a month in your refrigerator. There are many different uses for this cream cheese. You can add it as an ingredient in the frosting for a carrot cake. You can stuff it into a crepe. You can add it to a pasta sauce. You can even add it to some mashed potatoes. But my favorite way of all is to just put it on a bagel and have it with... Oh, hi Carter. I'm just doing a video right now. So my favorite way is to...
Thanks, Mom.
Oh, my goodness. As you can see, my family loves this cream cheese and I think you're going to love it too. Give it a chance. It's not hard to make. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you click like below and click subscribe if you want to see my videos in the future. So bye for now. I'm Marianne. Take care. I really wish you could try this. It is so good. Another one.